Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Super Deathbot here, back for another review on Thor Ragnarok Marvel Legends Jane Foster Thor. Now, I don't know a ton about this character. I do have the graphic novel I have to read. I actually won it in a raffle not too long ago, so I'm looking to check that out. But I love figures nonetheless, even if I know a lot or nothing about them. So let's get into this one and see what we got. We'll start with paint and sculpt as always. So, the paint on this figure is not really one to write home about. I don't mind that they casted it in that weird plastic with all like the swirls and stuff in it because it is armor, so I get that part of it. But if you can see all the lines on her face and stuff, when I go to take a close-up or anything like that, it really doesn't look like shiny metal. It kind of just looks like a broken mask or crappy kind of paint job. If you can see on this part of her helmet, they didn't do a good job trimming or cutting this out. There's a big blemish in there. There's a blemish on this side, and there is a blemish in her bicep. Stuff that I can fix. There's also a blemish in her forearm there, but don't necessarily always want to have to. I know that's where they got the mold and they snip it off and all that, but on a lot of figures it's cleaned up, and on this one, overall, her paint is pretty messy, in my opinion. Another thing I hate is when they do the inside body like this, and it's not casted in this plastic and painted black. It's black with this painted on it, and it doesn't look like skin. It doesn't look like, I don't know, it just looks unimpressive to me. Some of the paintwork on her is not bad, on her, robe and all of that kind of stuff. It doesn't really look, it's a pretty good job, decent, some clean lines. They could have added some detail on this like they did on a lot of the other figures in this wave. They didn't really do any washes on her or anything like that. All of her parts, like, the wings and stuff on her helmet on here are all kind of just not very good quality. They're chippy. The paint is blah on them. The sculpt is blah on them. Overall, I think this figure actually is pretty blah. I wish it was better because I was really looking forward to her. I have the San Diego Comic-Con box set coming soon as well, so I am hoping the Jane Foster Thor in that one is a little better. If not, I'm going to do my best to clean this one up so that maybe I enjoy the figure a little more. Not a terrible figure, just not great to me. Right in the middle of the road between paint, articulation, and not really having a strong connection to this character yet. So paint and sculpt to me are not fantastic, but I have also seen worse. Like I said, there's some decent bits, leather, the the metal points on here and stuff like that. So not horrible, just not as impressed as I have been with a lot of the Legends lately. Articulation, her head is on that kind of newer joint, which I like, especially for figures that are going to fly. The head moves back and forth on the ball as well as the ball joint moving. So I think that's really cool. I like that they're adding that stuff to figures. Another part that really bothers me is that her neck peg is flesh and her neck is black. So then you go to take pictures and you have mismatched, one or the other. It doesn't really look right, but the articulation on it is good. Her hair doesn't really get in the way of any of the articulation. So down really well, up pretty well. The hair does get a little bit in the way of that, but not terrible. Left, right, hair doesn't really get in the way of that. The points are made of soft goods as well, so they don't really break. Shoulders go higher than horizontal, which I'm always a fan of because I feel like you can get better positions, especially swinging the hammer and stuff like that. So that's a positive on the articulation. Her ab crunch and stuff is pretty good. She moves back and forth at the waist as well as at the ab. So she goes back pretty well, forward pretty well, and the articulation is not so bad. She does go side to side as well, so that's pretty good. She has only a single elbow joint like most female figures. Hasbro, please change this, because I am really looking forward to getting some better articulated females. The thigh swivel, figure's still new, so a little tight. She does have double jointed knees, so that's not terrible. She has, her foot can go down pretty far, which is good for flight poses, and she does have ankle rocker, and a pretty good amount of it too. So this has been another trend in Hasbro figures lately, this not attached kind of accessory. I think some people probably like it. I'm not crazy about it. It's nice to be able to move it so that the foot can do its ankle rocker and stuff like that, but if anything, to me, maybe just plant it up a little higher. It's good that it covers the foot normally like that, but Cyclops, the 90s version of Cyclops, has it too, and like every time you touch him, his, you know, calf strap is falling down, his thigh one is going up, so I appreciate the gesture of having, you know, it mobile, so that way we can get the articulation, but I hope they can also find a better way to do it, because the loose stuff like that drives me nuts. So articulation's not bad. Paint, not very good. But she also comes with this cape, which kind of doesn't stay in the best as well. But overall, I like the look of the figure. I was excited that they, in general, that they're starting to make some figures that maybe I wouldn't have thought we would have got. So that's pretty cool. And then as far as the hammer, I think this is one of the actually better parts of the figure. It's sculpted very well. It's painted very well. And it's, overall, it's pretty nice. You know, it's usually clean, so it doesn't really need to have any wash or anything. And I'm pretty sure the SDCC one is like a translucent blue. So I'm excited to have both. So that would be really cool. And I gotta say, I don't know if I've ever bought a Thor Marvel Legend. So this might be the first time I've actually seen one of the hammers. So maybe it's the same as all the other ones. But Thor has never been like my wheelhouse really. But I'm definitely starting to get a little bit more into it. So overall, I think the figure is alright. I don't know that I would have bought this figure if I wasn't building the Hulk. So that might be something to consider for you, because I also knew I was getting the San Diego Comic-Con one. I am glad I did, because, like I said, I could fix a few things on her, and she's not a bad figure. She's just definitely not one of my favorites. So I hope there's a little insight for you if you want to pick this figure up or not. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it.